right, well, let's get into it. Thank you guys for joining me so much. I don't know if Annie warned you, but I always do something. When I have prestigious guests like yourself, I always like to do something called the over the top intro. I like buttering the bread of my people right in front of me since they are in front of me. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes,
Yep.
please.
Butter it up.
Well, let's get into it. My next guest is an actor, director, writer. He is Chicago's native son and somehow the pride of NYU's TIS School Universities of Arts at the same damn time. I don't know how he pulled that off. We'll find out. Next to him on this Zoom screen is a budding young actor known for his work in The Secret Diary, The Exchange Student, and It's About You. And he's hotter than fish grease, and he's here to talk about what we're here to talk about today. Screams from the Tower, making his festival rounds and coming to screens near you in your eyes and ear holes. Ladies and gentlemen, Cory Richie, welcome to the podcast.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, Sam, that was the best intro I've ever received in my life.
Can you
But honored.
introduce us all the time, please?
Guys, this is awesome. I got a chance to watch this film. And I want to, all right, my first question. As a native Detroiter, I don't know if I gave it away back
Uh-huh.
here. I am adjacent to the Chicago suburbs, and I know a thing or two about a thing or three. And if these grays ain't telling you something, I am a child of the 90s. I am aware of John Hughes. I am aware of a lot of the things he's done. And a lot of my cinematic youth was filmed in the suburbs of Chicago. We have a love-hate relationship already. With that said, with this film, what made you want to just capture my entire childhood in 90 minutes?
Oh man, I grew up on those movies too. I grew up in John Hughes land, blocks from the Home Alone house. I went to that high school in the Breakfast Club. Ferris Bueller, Cameron's house in Ferris Bueller is just down the road, that beautiful house. And I don't know if anybody has ever made coming of age films like John Hughes will ever make them again. So, in designing this movie, desiring to make a coming of age movie, I had to pull on where I grew up and my roots and my cinematic understanding of how these movies should be done. And I wanted to make, the gay coming of age movie that John Hughes didn't get to make. Um, and luckily had people like Richie to chuck his whole life and come make it with me.
Man, Richie, okay, in this film, and I'm wording this question very carefully because I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
You, sir, not only exemplified this role, but you okay, I'm gonna say it like this. In the John Hughes world, or like films of that nature, every person had like a distinct characteristic. But one thing, and this is kind of a credit to Cory as well, not only do you have a distinct characteristic, but you had extra stuff too. So it's sort of like, okay, your character's gay, which is the, I don't know, non-secret of this movie. I mean, like it was so obvious. It was not,
Yeah.
but the quote secret was the fact that he's inflicted with OCD. And in addition to like holding this whole thing together, the student life aspect, how was it just portraying all of those or spinning all of those plates in this character?
Yeah. Well, that was the most exciting part when I first read the script because I was like, oh, this is like, there's so much to work with. He's so complex. He's got all this going on. Like, he's a guy. It was so great to play a character where, like, the sexuality isn't even the forefront of, like, the biggest issue in his life. Like, he's got the OCD thing. And, like, to him, that's, like, the thing that he's really trying to grapple with. And, like, I think that just represents high school so well as a whole because, like, you're trying to just figure out so much about yourself at the time. And like what you want to do with your life and your friends and everything. And so, yeah, I mean, this just gave me so much to work with, so much to play with. He's just like a one of a one type of guy, and he got all these crazy interests. So it was crazy to pull from all of that and just kind of like mess around and like discover what I want to do with it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey Corey, like Richie's character, I hope I'm not digging too deep, but is just a good shout out to one of your friends, a very, very close friend of yours, and he's playing that character. So how was it to stay true to the character, but also stay true to this story? Or was it one in one? Was it just like, okay, I know this guy, Richie be this guy, you know?
Richie came in to our virtual casting because we were still like in COVID lockdown when we were casting the movie, and Richie just took the damn role. Every so often an actor just walks in and tells you this part's mine, and even when he was exactly what I wanted. That said, I always liken it to, you write a symphony and you need a violin player to play violin, you need a cellist to play cello, but you hope that someone comes in and plays your music in a way you never knew it could be played. And that's what Richie Fusco did. And he had just come out of NYU himself, from lockdown, and had never done the lead role of a movie. And, unlike a play, obviously, you shoot a movie totally out of sequence. And what Richie does in this movie, in terms of nuance, guiding his arc through this whole movie, I don't think he knows how good he is, and what a great performance that is. He stole my heart from the moment he walked into my computer screen, or whatever the hell that casting session is called. And we had, a huge ensemble of people, 23 actors, all had to come in and be that, do that, levitate my score, my script. And we were just so lucky to find them, people to come from LA, New York, Chicago, Canada, and put them in summer camp and run around like a bunch of psychotics making this movie. Yeah.
One question I got for both of you, and I understand that time is a factor here, but I want to say it like this. I grew up on John Hughes movies. If that intro didn't give it up, every John Hughes movie has this thing, well, it's with you for the rest of your life. I don't know what it is, if it's Ducky not getting the girl until, or if it's modern day John Hughes movies where Home Alone, where you to this day, real talk, you had no idea I did this. I did this. I had a conversation with my wife. What the hell did Kevin's dad do for a job? Personally, I think it's drugs. But with that said, what do you want the people to take away from this coming of age movies? Because there's some people who was my age watching this. What do you want to take from Richie, in your case, the performance, Corey, in your case, the story itself? You guys
Richie.
can answer it however you want.
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway is I think Julian's biggest thing is authenticity. You know what I mean? I think like because of the radio show, he really can come into his own and really just kind of like fully actualize himself. I think the biggest takeaway is too is like, the more he kind of has this power, the more he's just kind of
Oh.
Oh, come on.
golden into himself. Oh,
Start again.
I know, it's bad. I will, I will. Yeah, I know my internet connection's unstable. Thank you.
It's okay. You're good. You're good.
Yeah,
You're good, man.
yeah, but dude, I think the biggest takeaway is just being authentic and just trying to find that in high school, especially. And I think the biggest takeaway too is you see Julian dealing with like multiple different issues at once, and that's life. It's not always just like one thing that you're dealing with, especially in high school when there's so many things going on. And I just think the biggest takeaway has got to be just finding your authenticity and being unafraid to make mistakes and trying to put yourself out there to the fullest because that's when you're gonna like fully become your true self. So I think that's the biggest takeaway that I'm hoping like the young Gen Z kids will take away from this.
Okay. Corey?
Yeah, for me, what you said about John Hughes films is so true. There's something that stays with you forever. Like no one will forget The Breakfast Club. You know, when you see it, it's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. I think that's because the man had an ability to take archetypes and show you you. And you could first of all, find yourself in any of his movies, say, that's me. And then he does this brilliant thing of making you empathetic toward all the other people in your school, in your life that aren't you. You know, if you're the nerd, you realize that the jock has his pain and that the prettiest girl in school has her problems too. And I really admire that about his movies. I would love that's why I wanted our movie to follow in the footsteps, is like no one's a cliche, no one's a trope. Everybody has horrible parts to themselves and beautiful parts to themselves. And I think that's when you get good storytelling, you know, when people can empathize, when people are touched, moved, get to laugh and remember what a fucked up, painful experience high school can be, because we all have that. Everyone in this country, and probably, you know, for most of the Western world, you know, high school is a specific painful time where you learn who you are and learn who you don't want to be. And that's what our movie's about, you know, learning who you want to be.
Well, Corey, I'm saying this very selfishly. My next question is very selfishly. I gotta ask, will there be a sequel? There were so many unanswered questions. Without giving away things, Richie, hey, block your calendar. I'm just saying, there were so many unanswered questions, especially with Richie. What you doing, man? What we talking about?
We are dying to make an episodic series based on this movie. I feel the same. I want to know more about every single ancillary character in this movie. I want to go to their homes. I want to meet their parents. I want to live in their bedrooms. I want to know how many weird animals Jen has. I want to know about Mare's sexual relationship. I want to get deep in there. And yeah, so Netflix, come for me. Prime, come for me. I have, you know, like all of us, endless high school stories to share, starring this incredible cast of characters. I just think they're charming as hell. And I'm
Look,
so glad you think so too. It's so heartwarming to hear that.
as a child of the 90s, Screams from the Tower really, really rings the bell on a lot of my adolescence and growing up and stuff like that, because I also came from a high school in which it was a good amount of us and every culture was highlighted in some way, and I'm glad you was able to do that. Hell, who are we kidding? Richie, I don't know if you know this. The last time Chicagoland people like Corey and Detroit native people like myself came together on legitimately anything,
Thing.
they're like that. This is it. Screams from the Tower. This
All
is it.
right. All
This
right.
is it.
I'm happy to be that South. We're coming together
I
here
know.
because it sure as hell isn't football, you know, like or basketball.
Man, don't have that conversation. Let's not have that conversation. We only got a couple minutes. Let's not have that conversation. But Corey, Richie, thank you so much. I will see Corey in the playoffs, sort of. It's kind of up to Corey at this point. Everything else, man, this has been such a good time. The time just flew past. Thanks for coming to the podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Sam. Amazing to meet you.
All right. Have a great one.
You too.
All right. Bye.